GAR TV, and I am sitting here with MBU hopeful Mekhi St. James Dickerson. Mekhi, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for asking.
Well, I wanted to have this interview with you so that people could get more of an up-close and personal view of who Mekhi St. James Dickerson is. Is there anything you want to tell us before we get started?
I'm just honored to be here. I'm very excited to go after my dream of being Mr. Black Universe. This year, my journey has been amazing. I've met people, I've traveled, I've learned more about myself than I've known. So just finding me again is so happy to experience.
Okay, well let's jump right into this interview. What brought you to pageantry?
To be honest, I began as a backup dancer. I was introduced to pageantry through Tariq Love Dupree, and it was at this very pageant the year Al Milan Dupree and Chanel Nicole captured the title of Mr. and Miss Black Universe. At that time, I had no idea what a pageant was. I was very naive. I was very unsure of what I was getting myself into. But when I arrived in Atlanta that year and I saw how much people put into this, how passionate they were about winning the pageant, competing, the camaraderie with the contestants is something I've never experienced. So to see that was so overwhelming for me. I knew then that this is something that I could be great at.
Okay, so what was the deciding factor to be Mr. Black Universe?
My deciding factor on becoming Mr. Black Universe came when I met Damani Hall Dickerson. It was in Columbus, I believe, Damani. I was competing for Mr. What was the pageant?
Columbus Newcomer.
Mr. Columbus Newcomer. And at that time, I didn't have a dresser. I traveled there alone to compete for the pageant. And Damani introduced himself to me and he asked me, did I have any assistance? Did I need anything? And at that time, as he dressed me while I was competing for the pageant, I could remember him telling me that you're going to be good at doing this. You're going to be somebody that is going to do great things. And anything you put your mind to, as long as you believe in yourself, you can and will achieve. I didn't realize in that very moment, but I knew from that moment to this moment that that's where my drive came to become great at being a male lead entertainer. A couple of years passed and then I revisited MBU. This time it wasn't as a backup dancer, it was my first year competing. I had a bunch of emotions going on. I was nervous, I was excited, I was afraid, but most of all I was happy. And so once I embarked on that journey and finally got here, I knew this is where I belong.
So how many years have you competed for Mr. Black Universe?
This will actually be my 4th year competing for Mr. Black Universe.
Okay. So many people compete in pageants and they aren't fortunate enough to win. And I know, for instance, with Black Universe, they have preliminaries. I know that on, a few months back, you were a contender for Mr. Hotlanta Universe, and unfortunately you didn't win. Most contestants decide not to do the nationals. What is your driving force that makes you continue to want to compete, although you were not fortunate enough to win the preliminary?
I knew going into it, I knew that there were going to be one winner and who would represent the title, but I knew that if I lost that I still would be a winner. So with that mindset, I knew that to do the preliminary was to do what I love to do and to qualify for the operative goal to be Mr. Black Universe. So even though I wasn't fortunate to win that prelim and represent them at nationals, I still am representing myself. And because I know that there's great things that I can do and bring to the system is the reason why I continue to push forward.
Okay. Many people win a pageant, but they rarely reign. How do you plan to make the difference?
The first thing is I plan to get a full understanding of what the board and directors have set for this year. What is it that they see for the next representatives to do? What areas that those representatives need to reach out? Once I gain that understanding, I have things that I have set in place to help me along the lines of getting people back involved in pageantry, allowing people to be engaged again in the entertainment aspect, because that's what brings us all together, the entertainment of it. I plan on just reaching out to people who once had a passion or a drive to be Mr. Black Universe and see what it is that may be still there to make them come back and hopefully capture their dream like I'm here to capture mine.
They have a saying, the scores are the scores. What are your thoughts on that saying?
Honestly, I feel that you know that you're being judged. You know at the end of the night there'll be a total score added, and then once that score is added, there's one winner. So I believe in it because there's no other way. Numbers don't lie, so when numbers add up, the scores will be the scores.
Okay. Well, let's take a turn from pageantry now and jump into your life. A lot of people feel that both entities, their biological life versus their stage life, should be kept separate. What's your take on that?
To a certain degree, I do believe they should be kept separate. I do believe those two individuals should never cross at the same time, but it's difficult because how could you not bring a part of who you are every day into who you are on stage? It's impossible. But the things that we do on stage will never, for me, actually go what I do on a daily living, because I'm a totally separate individual in my day-to-day living. And then as Mekhi, I'm someone who I may not be as comfortable being as Wayne.
Okay. Let's talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. As it pertains to anything in your life, we all go through good, bad, and ugly. Sometimes some things are great, sometimes things are not so great. Sometimes things are viewed as indifferent and the outside forces may draw conclusions about us. Tell us about a time in your life in general where people may have misconceived what you are or who you are.
Wow, where do I begin? So, I want to touch on a time just recently when I was in a relationship that to some failed, but to the people most involved in it succeeded. And the reason why I say it succeeded is because although we went through trying times, although we endured things that we didn't know that were going to happen, we managed to overcome objectives and still come out on top by understanding that in life people do experience ups and downs. But if you truly love someone, if you truly believe in someone, nothing is that bad that you can't come back to why it is that you love that person. People may have thought that I was in that relationship to gain things when it comes to pageantry. People may have thought, I was using or being manipulative to get what I wanted for pageantry. But in all actuality, coming to that point helped me find myself. There were things in my life that at points would go well, and then I would fall back into a place where I had nothing. And I would ask myself, why and how did I get to this place again? Now that I've met this individual who has believed in me, it has driven me to know that it shouldn't take someone else to believe in you, but you should first believe in yourself. When I found that, it was the most beautiful thing because that's what I desired my entire life. Like most of us, we come from backgrounds that are not what they consider cookie cutter. And for me, that's just a part of life. And I've always wanted to just be loved and supported and told that I can do whatever it is that I set my mind to. And that's what that relationship taught me. So to those who may believe other things, know that despite anything you've heard or anything that you may think you know, that person made me believe in myself and push me to become whatever it is I desire.
I've heard you speak twice now about not believing in yourself and now coming to a term of now understanding who you are and what you want. Outside of obtaining Mr. Black Universe, what else would Mekhi like to have out of life?
Mekhi would just want to be the best self that he could possibly be. And in doing so, I hope that I can inspire others, not just on stage, but off stage in their everyday life. I want my story to be as transparent and clear to people to know that no matter how you start, that does not determine how you may finish. And I want that to shine through me effortlessly, to give that person that may be looking at me, drawing that inspiration, to know that don't let those hurdles knock you down. You get back up, and you get back up stronger than you were before you got knocked down, to get over the hurdle. And that's what I want Mekhi to be. What I want Wayne to be is, I want him to understand that he's smart, he's talented, he's very ambitious about the things that he knows that he can do, and that nothing should ever get in that way, and it's never too late.
Okay. Well, in closing, I know that many people will watch this and they will think that you did it for the kicks, you did it for the likes, you did it for the thrills. Most people are going to feel like you're doing too much. What do you feel, or what is it that you want to say to those people as to why you chose the route of getting to know you personally versus just putting out a promo?
I chose that I didn't just want to put out a promo because you can't talk to a promo and have a promo talk back to you. I wanted to utilize this avenue as an opportunity for people to see me in a way that they possibly never seen me before. A lot of people, we only see people brief over the weekend when we travel to attend different pageants. And that's not enough time, honestly, to really get to know someone, to pull back the layers and go beneath the surface to the core of who that person really is. And although I understand that even in this interview, you may not get to know everything about me, but what you will learn is that I'm just like the next person. And if at any time you want to have a laugh, tell a story, need a shoulder to lean on, that I'm still that friend or that brother or that father or that leader that can be myself with no judgment. And so hopefully now you see that there's more to just Mekhi on stage, that he's actually a person with feelings. And I hope that this gives you the courage to come up to me and possibly ask a question or share something so that we can gain a memory and share an experience with one another.
Okay. Outside of all the positivity that you've spoken, if you aren't fortunate enough to win Mr. Black Universe, what is going to be your next move?
Honestly, I haven't thought that far ahead because my goal is to become Mr. Black Universe. So my next move is to begin my reign, honestly.
Well, Mekhi, I want to say thank you for taking this time to sit down to talk to Guard TV. And we're going to wish you the best of luck Halloween weekend right here in Atlanta, Georgia, as you compete for Mr. Black Universe.
Thank you.